I do actually sometimes just literally say the words out loud, Sarah, walk away from the phone. The fact that I have to maintain this online persona and I have to, market myself and my books. And so I am required to be online, to be posting on Medium, to be on Instagram, to be documenting things by links, all of that stuff. And so sometimes I can sit down with my morning coffee in order to just kind of update my social feeds, and then I look up and 2 hours have passed, and that's not good. And last night, in fact, when I was trying to go to sleep, I was looking at Twitter, and the American political landscape right now is just infuriating, and
Yes.
every day, every minute of every day it gets worse. And I just said, Sarah, oh my God, stop looking at it. You got to put the phone down, because you can not only waste so much time, but you can try to put too many things in your brain at once and cause, a fuse to blow. So I do think it's important to disconnect.
Yeah, yeah. I think you mentioned Trump a little bit in your book, don't you?
A little bit. When I feel that anger and rage coming on, I try to channel it into something positive. Not everybody has the means to donate to campaigns. Not everybody has the time to phone bank and do things like that. But I try to do that because I feel like otherwise I'm going to poison myself with my own rage. And that's
Yeah.
not productive for anybody.
It is hard to say no, isn't it? To put the phone down, to walk away from the phone, to walk away from the computer. What are some of the other things that you mentioned in your book? I mean, where we should be saying no, and we should be becoming a lot better at saying no. I mean, stuff like working more, for example, or because I mean, the lure of an extra shift's pay can be quite tempting where you think, oh, it's only one evening, it's only one of my 2 days off, kind of thing. But that's probably the kind of thing that you might talk about in terms of saying no.
Yeah, I mean, well, honestly, if you want and can use the money, then go ahead and say yes. But I think that you stop working for no extra money. I mean, a lot of people were saying, that I keep getting asked to stay late, not being paid overtime, get asked to take on extra projects without being paid more, get asked to do colleagues' work who are failures,
Yeah.
but not get paid commensurately. And those are the kinds of things that I think you have to be able to say no to. And yes, it is scary. It's terrifying. Your heart is in your throat. What if I get fired for saying no? And most of the time, if you can say an honest, polite, productive, diplomatic no, it's going to be okay. We've all worked for awful, horrible bosses, and maybe those awful, horrible bosses will not take it well and will penalize you. But you'll never know until you try. And I don't want anybody to walk away thinking, "Wow, she's fine with me getting fired on the spot if I just take her advice." Just that's not usually how it works. Usually people go, "Oh, I thought I was going to be able to push, guilt, manipulate you into that, and I'm not. I'll go do that to somebody else instead."
Yeah, when it's a boss or even, a family member, when you do start pushing back and saying no, actually, it's really important to do that. It's boundaries. It's better for them and for you as well. But I suppose often those people close to you might not like it when you start to assert those boundaries.
I think especially with family, people get worried. They have a lot of, deep state guilt and obligation going on with their family members. And what I try to explain really clearly in all of my books is that all healthy relationships thrive on boundaries. Okay, these are important and necessary, not just for you, but for the people that are on the other side of the boundary. A lot of the times the guilt is coming from your own head. And if you can talk yourself out of it by putting yourself in the other person's shoes and saying, hey, if they didn't make them feel guilty, no, because I'm a reasonable person who understands that not everybody can do everything that's asked of them every day of the week. If you look at it that way and you think, no, this is a reasonable no, I would accept this no from the person on the other end, then that might help you get to saying your own no. And then when you do say it, you might be very surprised that a lot of people will just take it. If they don't, I give kind of a gradated way of dealing with people who push back, which is natural. Oh, are you sure you can't come? Oh, we'd love to have you there. Yeah, I'm sure. I know I'd love to be there. You can just parrot it back to them, and usually that ends the conversation. They push a little harder. There are other tactics you can use. And then if somebody, particularly a family member, really wants to lay on that guilt trip, you can say to them, I really think that your inability to take no for an answer says more about you than it does about me.